I'm by no means the first person to say this, but Dick Grayson is the heart and soul of the DC universe. Ever since his first appearance in Detective Comics number 38 from April 1940, the budding hero has been an ever-present fixture in the world of Batman and his trusted allies. Through his 80+ years of existence, readers have been treated to a significant evolution of Grayson's character, beginning as a plucky sidekick in red and green tights, bestowed the name Robin, to a brash and confident teenager forming his own path away from Gotham City with the Teen Titans, to becoming Bloodhaven's protector, Nightwing, and even taking over as the Caped Crusader in Bruce Wayne's absence. Dick is a character who has continuously evolved in the years since his debut, and is one of the only major comic book characters to have truly grown up in front of readers. Although he's now served as Nightwing for almost 40 years, with a slew of other Robins adopting the mantle since, his time as the Boy Wonder remains a period that comic writers are fascinated by, with many seeking to revisit and recontextualize Dick's origin and transformation into a hero. Perhaps one of the best comics to examine the hero's formative years is Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen's 2021 limited series, Robin and Batman. Told across 3 issues, this series chronicles Robin's early days training alongside the Dark Knight, showcasing the creation of the dynamic duo and how Dick's coming of age impacts not only himself, but the very nature of who Batman is. Robin and Batman provides a fascinating lens to assess the history of 2 of comics' greatest characters, while simultaneously being a sincere and heartfelt story about fatherhood and found family. So in this video, I want to explain the history behind how this comic came to be, discuss how Lemire and Nguyen examine the legacy of DC's dynamic duo, and consider what Robin and Batman can tell us about the impact and the significance of the one and only Dick Grayson. Before we continue though, just a quick reminder to leave a like on this video if you enjoy it, and subscribe to Owen Likes Comics so you don't miss out on any future videos. In order to explain what Robin and Batman tells us about the history of Dick Grayson, I think it's first worth briefly overviewing the character's history and the era of storytelling that this comic reflects on. Initially introduced in Detective Comics number 38, Dick Grayson was created by Bill Finger, Bob Kane and Jerry Robinson. Attempting to entice the newly created Batman hero to young audiences, the trio decided to partner him with a child sidekick who could act as a POV character. Drawing influence from folklore hero Robin Hood, pulp character Frank Merriwell, whose younger brother was named Dick, and real-life book editor Charles Grayson, Robin leapt onto the printed page and immediately changed the tone of the Dark Knight's comics. Whereas Batman was initially a dark and somber pulp hero, wielding guns and showing little regard for the lives of those he encountered, Robin's existence seemed to lighten the character up, slowly over time morphing him into a troubled but loving father figure and mentor. This distinction is worth noting as it showcases Grayson's impact on the Batman mythos and his role in humanizing Batman and rounding off the character's darker edges. Dick Grayson remained Batman's one and only partner for several years, predating the likes of Alfred, Batwoman and Batgirl, and whilst he would eventually step down from the role of Boy Wonder in 1984, instead taking on the new name of Nightwing, his integral role as Bruce Wayne's first son and closest partner can't and hasn't been understated. Although Dick's origin was told in his debut story arc, numerous writers have attempted to expand upon it and recontextualize it in later years. Most notably, Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale reworked Dick's transformation into Robin in the 1999 series Batman Dark Victory. A sequel to their acclaimed graphic novel The Long Halloween, Dark Victory spotlights Batman's development from a lone vigilante on a one-man crusade for vengeance to an inspirational father figure who seeks to ensure that no one else suffers his tragic fate. Dark Victory reminds readers that Robin serves as Batman's anchor to humanity, with the brightly coloured idealistic sidekick representing the childlike innocence and hope that Bruce Wayne lost. When considering the role that Robin has historically played in Batman's status quo, and how Dick especially is pivotal to understanding these ideas of humanity and legacy, I spoke with fellow YouTuber and Batman expert Salazar Knight, who had this to say on the matter.
So, well, going back to my first exposure, Adam West and Burt Ward doing Batman and Robin together was was a very nice dynamic again, because having them acting as friends, because that's the difference in that show. They acted more like friends more than a father and son figure. Ever since like kind of realism became part of comic books, they had to like make sense of the young figure that tags along with Batman and try to make it fit in that world. So I guess that when I was a kid, watching the colorful versions, both the 1960s TV show and the Joel Schumacher movies, I kind of took Dick Grayson, or rather Robin, because I didn't really much care about the secret identity of the character. It was Robin because he had to be. It was just a tradition, and I didn't really notice like the how profound this character has an effect on the Batman mythos as a whole until I became kind of like a Batman fan from the comics, and I rewatched the animated series episode Robin's Reckoning, which is kind of like the retelling of Dick Grayson's origin story, which takes a lot of inspiration from the early 1940s original Robin origin story, but makes it a more grounded version, where whether in the original it was all about Batman recruiting a kid. In the animated series version, it was Bruce Wayne like taking over this orphan, and that's kind of like when it started to click to me, like, oh, Dick Grayson as Robin is an essential part of what it means to be like Batman. Because imagine a world where Dick Grayson doesn't exist. It's all dark and gritty, and at some point, Batman will probably end himself in that mission. And the moment Dick Grayson happens, it's like it changes the whole dynamic, and it brings a lighter, brighter version to the Batman world, and that's what happens in the 1960s shows and the Schumacher movies. Robin is that light of brightness that it shines a light on the Batman mythos as a whole.
Robin's origin story and how it changes Batman's status quo have been topics considered by several writers over the years. However, one of the most earnest and interesting depictions of Dick's formative years came quite recently in 2021, when the team of Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen teamed up to reimagine the dynamic duo's formation in their 3-issue miniseries aptly titled Robin and Batman. Although Dick Grayson's origin has been well covered in comics over the years, Robin and Batman recontextualizes the duo status quo through the eyes of its writer Jeff Lemire. Initially rising to prominence thanks to comics like Sweet Tooth and Essex County, Lemire has become one of the most notable comic book writers of the modern era. After signing an exclusive contract with DC in 2010, he found great success on works such as Animal Man, Green Arrow, and Justice League Dark, before expanding to work on several high-profile books for Marvel, including Hawkeye, Old Man Logan, and highly acclaimed Moon Knight run. In both his work at Marvel and DC, alongside his slew of successful creator-owned and independent comics, Lemire has maintained a running theme of family in much of his work. Ideas surrounding the relationship between father and son, found family, and how people can overcome their traumas together influence a lot of the writer's stories, and make it no surprise that he was drawn to Dick Grayson and his evolution from a scared orphan into the boy wonder. One of Lemire's comics that I think is fairly notable in Robin and Batman's inception is Descender, a 32-issue sci-fi series published by Image Comics between 2015 and 2018. This unique tale would mark Lemire's first collaboration with artist Dustin Nguyen, who he would later re-team with on Ascender, Little Monsters, and subsequently Robin and Batman. Although Lemire began working on the idea of doing a Robin-centric Batman story for many years prior to Descender's release, it was only after his long-running collaboration with Nguyen began that the series we know today was fully developed. After Descender's conclusion in July 2018, Lemire and Nguyen formally began plotting out what their take on the dynamic duo's first encounter would be like, with the writer combining his penchant for sincere and heartfelt stories about family with Nguyen's dreamlike watercolour vision of Gotham City. Intrigued to learn more about what drew Lemire to this story, I reached out to him directly and asked about how Robin and Batman was conceived, as well as what the character of Dick Grayson means and symbolises to him. Lemire explained,
I grew up along with Dick Grayson. As a child of the 80s, I was reading New Teen Titans monthly when Dick became Nightwing. So he's always been a character near and dear to my heart. And in many ways, I see him as the heart of the entire DCU because he does bridge so many different corners of it. So getting the chance to go back and tell an untold facet of his history was really satisfying and exciting for me. I wasn't pulled to it so much as any sort of love of the Bat mythology or history, but rather it felt like a story that would lend itself to me being able to bring the sorts of themes and characterization I enjoy working with in my personal work, like Sweet Tooth, to the DCU.
DC Comics formally announced the series in August of 2021, with Robin and Batman not only marking the reunion of one of comics' most exciting creative teams, but by combining the themes prevalent throughout Lemire's creator-owned works, it also promised to deliver a unique and bold reinterpretation of Batman's status quo. Told across 3 issues, this series promised to be a nuanced and introspective look at the role of Dick Grayson and what his ascendancy to the Robin persona says about his place within the world of Batman and the larger DC universe. Eventually, in November 2021, the first issue of Robin and Batman was released, and readers were finally treated to Lemire and Nguyen's fresh and heartfelt take on the birth of the dynamic duo. But before we continue, I just want to take a moment out of this video to share some exciting news with all of you. For those of you who might not have seen, recently Owen Likes Comics hit 100,000 subscribers here on YouTube, which is an incredible achievement, and I wanted to take a moment to just personally say thank you to everyone that has watched, likes, comments and subscribes for helping me hit this incredible milestone. I've been making videos about comic books in history for many years now, and it's incredible to kind of reach this goal and reach this milestone that many years ago I never thought was attainable or achievable. But we're here, we've done it, and I want to say thank you so much to everyone's support who's helped me get there. Literally, as I was getting set up this morning to film the outro for this video, my 100,000 subscriber award came in the post. So this is absolutely wonderful, it's incredible. And I just wanted to take a moment and say thank you for all of your continued support, and thank you for helping me achieve this awesome milestone. It really, really does mean the world. And anyway, let's get back to the video. Robin and Batman opens in the heat of action as Dick Grayson, clad in a makeshift costume, attempts to disarm a gang of thugs stealing from a truck. Outnumbered and overwhelmed, Batman appears and chastises Dick, telling him to abort the mission and return to the Batmobile. Crestfallen, Dick tries to explain on the drive home, stating he had the situation under control and is eager to prove himself to the Dark Knight. Batman, however, brushes this off, and the duo return to the cave where an argument breaks out. Here, Bruce explains that Dick requires far more training before he's able to go out on patrol, with Grayson protesting this, stating that he's ready and that Bruce is overbearing. Alfred enters the cave and gets caught in the crossfire of this exchange, as he tries to reason with Bruce as Dick storms upstairs. Alfred says that while Dick is young and inexperienced, he shares the same burning passion that Bruce once did and must be handled with compassion instead of being treated like a soldier. After this, we're met with a series of vignettes that explain Dick's life and status quo up to this point, including his childhood, the death of his parents, and being taken in by Bruce Wayne. He's enrolled in a new school, and despite the promise of normalcy returning to his life, he fantasizes about fighting crime alongside the Cape Crusader, drawing in his notepad a costume and a code name of Robin. Alfred picks Dick up from school and attempts to lift the child's spirit, while noting that Bruce has decided not to allow him out until he's older and received more training. Dick is angered by this, storming to his room where he gets to work on creating his own Robin costume, defying his mentor's orders and seeking to forge his own path. Later that night, Batman patrols the Gotham streets alone, noticing a group of criminals entering the sewers. Upon following them, we learn that Dick is actually tracking Bruce, and he enters the sewers as well, without Batman's knowledge. As Bruce follows the criminals, Robin takes a wrong turn and is cornered by Killer Croc, who easily overpowers the child and demands to know Batman's location. Overhearing the commotion, Bruce comes to Dick's aid and saves him from Croc, though he sustains several injuries in the process. They're able to make it back to the cave, where Bruce angrily chastises Alfred for letting Robin out of sight, as well as snapping at Dick for defying him and creating his own costume. Dick tries to defend himself here, stating that he believed Bruce was trying to test him and that the suit he designed was made to honour his late parents. Bruce then reveals in a glass case an armoured and sleek Robin costume that he had designed, hoping that once he was ready, Dick would wear it and fight by his side. Initially touched by this, Robin quickly realises what this means, that Bruce has been reading his journals, causing yet another argument to break out between the two. Meanwhile, we see Killer Croc arrive at the now abandoned Haley Circus, where he finds a poster for the Flying Graysons and recognises the costume worn by the son. While Croc pieces together Robin's identity, Dick returns to school where he's bullied by other students. On the drive home, Alfred comforts him and gifts him a new notepad, and states that Bruce struggles to open up with people but genuinely cares for Dick and wants to support him. After returning home, we learn that today is actually Dick's birthday, and Bruce reveals a special surprise as the duo travel to the Watchtower, where Dick, wearing the Robin costume Bruce designed, is introduced to the entire Justice League. Here, he's also introduced to a group of teen sidekicks and proteges, including the likes of Wally West, Roy Harper, and Donna Troy. After bonding with the kids, Dick suggests that they all go on a mission to prove themselves to the League, sneaking through the Watchtower and teleporting to Coast City, where they stop the Royal Flush Gang from robbing a bank. After making it back without anyone realising they were gone, the would-be Titans form an unshakable bond and friendship before Bruce enters the room and tells Dick they need to leave. Later that night, Robin excitedly tells Alfred about his day, as the butler thanks Bruce for finally showing compassion and kindness to the young child. Bruce interrupts this though and orders Robin to provide a mission debrief, leading Dick to explain the powers of each teenage sidekick as well as their weaknesses and vulnerabilities. While this upsets Alfred, the experience seemingly brings Robin and Batman together, as Bruce congratulates Dick on his excellent work. Over the next few days, we see Batman and Robin on patrol together, learning to fight as partners and teammates. As Dick returns to school though, Killer Croc arrives and demands Robin to show himself, having tracked Grayson's location down after their last encounter. The school is quickly evacuated as Dick attempts to battle Croc until Batman arrives to stop him. Bruce eventually does, though is quickly incapacitated by the villain and kidnapped. Faced with no other option, Robin follows Croc to the abandoned circus, where Dick discovers that Croc was actually part of the circus before its closure, forced to be part of a freak show due to his appearance. After searching the grounds, he finds Bruce held captive in a shark tank. As he attempts to free him, Batman explains that it's a trap and that Robin should leave, telling Dick he has nothing to prove and that he's proud of him. This doesn't dissuade Robin from freeing his mentor though, however Croc arrives before Dick can pick Bruce's lock. The villain beats Robin senselessly as Batman is forced to watch, taunting the child for the death of his parents and stating that this is his revenge for how his family and the other circus performers treated him. Bruce screams at Croc to show mercy, as the monstrous foe holds Robin's head underwater and slowly drowns him. As he begins to fade, Dick experiences a vision of his parents, with this giving him the strength to fight back and stab Croc with the tool he was using to free Batman. Stunned, this gives Robin the chance to incapacitate the villain, beating Croc and freeing Bruce from his restraints. The two heroes immediately embrace, with a tearful Batman thanking Dick for saving his life. The comic ends with Robin's life seemingly returning to normal. He makes friends at school, reunites with the Teen Titans, and continues to train with Batman. All intercut with excerpts from his journal explaining that he's slowly discovering who he is and his place in the world, and that despite the darkness Dick has faced throughout his life, he's learned that he can be the light to lift others up, and that much like Gotham will always need Batman, Batman himself will always need Robin. Throughout its 3-issue run, Robin and Batman tells a rich and nuanced story about the relationship between these two beloved heroes, the formation of their unshakable bond, and why Dick Grayson is so integral to the overarching Batman mythos. Lemire and Nguyen's take on Robin's early years introduces us to a Batman who feels emotionally shut off and distant, struggling to open up and find common ground with the young orphan he's taken in. Whilst it's clear he wants to do right by Dick, he isn't sure how, and this causes immense friction between the pair. Bruce's cynicism and cold demeanour is contrasted with Dick's childlike wonder and innocence. Despite having recently lost his family, he quickly engrosses himself in the Dark Knight's world, eager to gain his mentor's approval and dedicate his life to the same cause as Bruce. Robin's eagerness often gets the better of him throughout this story, but it's also his willingness to throw himself in danger for things he cares about that ultimately saves the day, as Robin steps up to not only rescue Batman from Killer Croc, but exorcise the demons of his past in order to forge a new chapter in his and Bruce's life. In her essay The Heart and Soul, Dick Grayson as the centre of the DC Universe, Mollie Herlocker discusses the role that Robin plays in Batman's status quo, serving as both a personification of the inner child Bruce lost and a shining symbol of hope in the Caped Crusader's otherwise shadowy world. She writes,
"Since his debut in 1940, Dick Grayson has provided a drop of sunshine in the dark nights of Gotham, most notably so in his original role as Robin the Boy Wonder. Though his origin story nearly mirrors Bruce Wayne's, factors of both nature and nurture have consistently differentiated the paths the two men took. In every version, both witnessed the murders of their beloved parents. Both were spared from that fate, and both left the events vowing to fight for justice. However, while Bruce began his mission by himself, leading with vengeance, Dick had Bruce to guide him away from that path due to Bruce's own self-awareness."
Herlocker's reading of Robin's role in Batman's comics mirrors the character's journey throughout Lemire and Nguyen's series. Here, Grayson earns Batman's respect through his infiltration of the Teen Titans, but it isn't until he takes it upon himself to save the day, something Bruce had previously scolded him for, and rescue his mentor from certain doom, that Robin truly ascends into the hero we know today. During my conversation with Jeff Lemire, I asked him about the theme of fatherhood prevalent throughout much of this comic, both in relation to Dick and Bruce's journey, as well as the role that Alfred plays in it too. In response, Lemire explained,
"While I have worked with variations on the father-son theme many times in my work, this was unique in that it's not a binary relationship. Alfred is also key to this relationship. So it's really a story about all three of these characters and their dynamic. And I did love seeing a harder-edged Batman/Bruce totally out of his depth when it comes to dealing with kids. We start to see Bruce grow into that over the story, and if I get to do any sequels, that journey will continue. Dick brings hope and light back to Bruce's world. He makes Bruce a better Batman because I think he starts to help Bruce heal, and he injects empathy and humanity back into this man who has only known pain and revenge. It's a very simple emotional dynamic, but one that can lead to some really nuanced storytelling.
At its core, Robin and Batman is a comic about humanity, finding friendship and family through adversity and hardship, and channeling the darkness within you and using it for a greater purpose. Batman himself is a symbol of turning darkness into hope as he transforms his pain and trauma into an idea that the people of Gotham can rally behind. But Robin takes this concept a step further. Dick Grayson, both in this story and the broader DC universe, exists as proof that Batman's dream can be realised, that people can grow beyond their darkest days and ascend to heights previously unimaginable. Whether he acts as Robin, Nightwing, or even the Dark Knight himself, Dick Grayson's rise and prominence in the DCU is living proof that Bruce's mission is a success, to ensure that no child suffers the same burden of loss and anger in the same way he did, and can instead find hope and purpose in the idea and the mission of Batman. And even though Lemire and Nguyen only reimagine the earliest days of these two heroes' career, I think their story serves as a heartfelt and sincere reminder of what these characters mean and represent. And it's through witnessing Dick Grayson's evolution to heroism, coupled with Bruce's personal journey of opening up and believing in his young partner, that I think Robin and Batman exists as a fitting love letter to the dynamic duo. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to leave a like on this video and leave a comment down below as well. Let me know your thoughts on everything we talked about in today's video. I can't wait to hear what you have to say as always. If you're new to Owen Likes Comics, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notify bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. And if you enjoyed this and you want some more, there should be some others on screen right now that you might also enjoy. If you want to help support the channel and help me make more videos, you can do so by going to patreon.com/OwenLikesComics, or if you just want some more of me, you can follow me on Twitter just at Owen Likes Comics. I want to thank my good friend Salazar Knight for coming on and helping me out with this video. I will leave links to Sal's channels and his socials in the description. I think he's a tremendous creator, and if you love Batman and you love the kind of stuff that I make, you will definitely fall in love with his channel very quickly. But that's all for this video. Again, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully I will see you next time. But until then, take care and keep reading.